Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 360 Sports. I am Jacob Gold. I'll be your host today. I am joined by Sawyer, Fernando, and Andrew. We got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be talking some baseball, and right now, there are some games that are currently happening right now. And so we have today, and we're going to be talking about the NL wildcard, the AL wildcard, and all of the fun things that are happening in this upcoming month of October. So we're going to start with the NL wild card. We're going to go over to the Guardians versus the Tigers. Last night, a 6-1 finish. So what is your guys' takeaway from that 6-1 finish?
I mean, this was a really close game. They both were tied going into the bottom of the eighth, and it turned out the Guardians just needed one spark on the offense to win that game, and it happened in the eighth. They finally clobbered the relievers of the Tigers, scoring 5 runs, put the game out of hand, and now we have a game 3.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know the name Brian Rocchio, you better learn it now because he was essentially the hero in this game versus Detroit today, and he forced the game 3. And I would say coming into today, after Tyler Skubal's phenomenal outing yesterday, 14 strikeouts in 8 innings, or 7 1/3, excuse me. After his phenomenal performance, I felt like the Tigers had all the momentum. Guardians' offense was kind of stagnant. Only had 2 runs going into the 8th inning. Only had 2 runs in the whole series going into the 8th inning of today's game. Mm-hmm. So really, really needed that offense to break out. Bo Naylor had a 3-run homer. So it feels like the tide is starting to turn, and the Guardians are kind of starting to run away with this series. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
For sure. I mean, the Guardians during the regular season were ranked 29th in offense with, I believe it was like a 229 average. But, I mean, it goes to show you really just how strong that Cleveland bullpen is, really being resilient. It's a whole philosophy of being able to bend, not break. And I really think that we'll be able to see that on display for game 3. Personally, I'm going to take Cleveland game 3 just solely based upon how strong that bullpen is. If you look at Detroit and Cleveland neck and neck as in terms of just the depth of their pitching, which is crucial in October. It's just Cleveland just stands 10 toes taller than Detroit. So I'm gonna roll with Cleveland for game 3.
The thing I want to go back to game 2 a little bit. Like, the Tigers had opportunities to win this game. Mm-hmm. They left, in fact, in 15 men on base. That was a franchise record for them.
In the playoffs?
Yeah. Wow. In that game. They had so many opportunities to put that game out of hand, and they failed.
Absolutely.
But as going to game 3, I'm actually going to take the Tigers. I've always talked about how playoff experience is so important in the playoffs, and that's what the Tigers have that the Guardians don't. Mm-hmm. They are sending Jack Flaherty, who has more experience than who's pitching for the Guardians tomorrow?
Is it who went today? Tanner Beebe?
Yeah.
It was
so
Beebe.
Would it be? I don't actually know. Have they named a starter? I know that.
I don't know.
If they have named a starter.
Bodie even talked about if it went 3 that he was going to do potentially even a bullpen day, kind of what Chicago did today with Kittredge starting. So, I mean, it's kind of just all up in the air. I mean, when you're put in the situation, your back's against the wall in October, it's kind of like what San Diego dealt with, and we'll get into it a little bit later. But it's like they threw all of their pieces at Chicago once Cease was pulled in the 4th, and that's pretty much similarly what Cleveland had to do. Right. So just being able to see how those pieces can recoup is just going to be kind of an hour-by-hour basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you look at this Cleveland team, and like you said, they've had their backs against the wall the entirety of this later half of the season. So you go back to Vo, which I think he's a great coach, by the way. And I think he's taken this team to the next level. They edged out the Tigers in the regular season, and I think they're going to edge them out in game 3.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about taking the team that's playing the best baseball right now, it's without a doubt the Guardians. Mm-hmm. Right, 16 and a half games back at one point in the season of that AL Central title. They end up winning it. I find it hard to pick against them at home tomorrow in game 3.
Yeah. So moving over to Wrigley, we go to the Cubs, who defeated the Padres yesterday, and actually we just got an update that they just lost.
So that
today.
was going to game 3 as well.
That one's going to game 3. Very exciting postseason baseball here. But with the Wrigley wind and all the crazy stuff that happened yesterday, let's talk about yesterday's game. 3-1 win. And I think a very a very underappreciated point of that game was the shadows.
Yeah.
There were a lot of crazy shadows, especially when Mason Miller came in. I don't understand how you hit Mason Miller in general, but throw in a shadow and it's almost impossible. So let's go a little further into that.
I personally don't think it's that much of an attribute. Personally, I think it's more of an excuse.
Interesting.
Personally, if you play 162 games, especially if you play in sunny San Diego, I don't think that complaints about a shadow should really be a hindrance towards the performance of why you win or lose. This team's loaded. There's no reason to really kind of base their success off of a shadow. I personally had the Cubs going very deep in this playoffs, but really the way that this is formulating is that it looks like the winner of that series has a really good chance to go deep in October. And I just don't think, it's just Mother Nature, man. And, the Chicago Cubs for the longest time, they didn't even have lights at their stadium. It's like most of the time they played during the day. So I think it's just a element that you just got to adapt to. And I think that San Diego adapted to the shadows really well today.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like the Padres, also, let's be honest, they were not going to get swept. This team is too talented to not get
too talented,
way
too
too
resilient.
too resilient to get swept. This is why you traded pretty much your entire farm system to get to be this good. Like, it would have been an embarrassment to get him swept.
Yeah, look, it is tough to play at Wrigley. And I understand the shadows, but the wind, everything about Wrigley and everything about the conditions at Wrigley Field makes it difficult to play there. So
fans are pretty rowdy too.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Honestly, if I had to take someone in Game 3 tomorrow, I would take the Cubs just because of that home field advantage. I think going to Wrigley Field is, like you said, is so tough to win there. And also, you just lost, the Cubs can bounce back easily from that loss.
Definitely. And, I think what the interesting thing about the Cubs is they started the season really, really hot, right? They were playing well. Pete Crow Armstrong was at his best. He was looking like an MVP candidate. He's kind of taken a step back in the second half. I really would look for him to be the guy to push them through into the NLDS. And I agree with Andrew. I think the Cubs have the ability to make that deep run into the playoffs, but I just don't know if their experience can get them there. The Padres have a lot more playoff experience. Manny Machado has been around. How many World Series, how many NLCSs has he been around? Right.
Bogarts.
Right. So there's
Tatis.
So much talent and so much experience on that Padres team. It would almost feel wrong for them to get bounced in the NL wildcard. I feel like both of these teams should be playing in the NL.
Yeah. The bigger question for me going into Game 3 is, which Kyle Tucker are we going to get? This guy was playing really well at the beginning of the season, and then he just had that stretch where he got hurt, he was playing awful, he was getting booed, in fact. And then he just after that injury, he healed up, he played much better, but we still haven't seen that same Kyle Tucker that we saw in the first half of the season.
Well, are we seeing Kyle Tucker's last game as a Cub tomorrow? Very possible, right?
That's a good question.
Very possible.
With the Cubs actually winning the season series against the Brewers, I think when you move on from the NL wild card, if the Cubs were to win, I think they have a better chance of going deeper into the playoffs than the Padres, given their talent, given their bullpen. And I think the Padres are a team where it's about just getting it to the fifth inning, and then you can lay back a little bit because you just know Mason Miller, Suarez, they'll come in and absolutely dominate.
Well, now that's the biggest question going into Game 3. It's because you pulled Cease. Cease was pitching a gem.
He was.
I think Cease's ERA in the postseason is about close to 9 in the postseason, and he pitched a gem in the first 4 innings. Schilt pulled him, went to Morion, I think, and then went to Miller, then Suarez. But that's going to be my biggest question mark for me. We got to see that from Chicago the other day. Matthew Boyd was an absolute stud yesterday. So we didn't really get to see the capitalization of Chicago really overexpanding their bullpen. Now it's like the cards have turned. Now San Diego is pretty much like I said about Cleveland earlier. They threw all their cards in front of the dealer. They're like, this is what we have. We're going to take our best shot at it. But that's going to be the biggest question mark for me going into Game 3 is whether or not Mike Schilt has that back end ready for pretty much any situation. Because, you can see him try to pull a starter second, third inning, even the first inning. So it's just really just going to depend on how Schilt plays that bullpen card.
Yeah, and he knows how to manage a team.
For sure.
That's the last takeaway we have from tomorrow's game is Mike Schilt knows how to manage a team, and he knows how to manage a win or go home game in the wild
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And talk about pitching a gem. You talk about Garrett Crochet.
card.
Let's go over to the AL wild card with the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. And what a fantastic baseball game that was. For all baseball fans, I think we can all say that we enjoyed watching that game, except for maybe a few Yankee fans.
I think even Yankee fans have to respect the outing that Garrett Crochet had
hard as it
yesterday.
Can we talk about the fact that he threw 100 miles per hour on the 116th pitch? Like, you're already 16 pitches above 100, and you're still pitching at that much of a velocity. That's just amazing.
I think they call that the flow state. But
They call that smelling salts. That's what they call that. I think Crochet really just put a staple as to why Boston just went out and just threw so much at the White Sox to go and acquire him. It's just so awesome to see. Another left-handed stud just absolutely shutting down what's supposed to be the most potent offense, especially in the American League, probably neck and neck with Seattle. But now you get to see Crochet really like just being a dog. And now we're going to get to see Bayo against Rodon. And Crochet just did such a good job of just taking so much work off of Boston's bullpen, which has been one of their gray areas, especially the second half of the season. And to see just him have, I think it was at one point he had 17 consecutive outs or something like that. It's ridiculous. And it's so awesome to see that quality of pitching, especially this late in the season, from a true ace like Garrett Crochet.
Key stat I want to talk about is this is why the Red Sox threw everything to win that game yesterday. Winner of game 1 has gone on to win a best of 3 92% of the time.
Well, I think to hit on Andrew's point about the bullpen, their bullpen has not been great towards the back end. But now, after not using Garrett Whitlock last night, you've enabled yourself to be able to use him for maybe 2 innings tonight if you need it. Mm-hmm. It depends on how far Bayo goes. I understand that. Mm-hmm. But only using Chapman, and I think I saw Instagram post today about how Crochet told Alex Cora that he wasn't going to anybody but Chapman. He was going to get him into the 8th so he can get Chapman for what I guess he expected to be a 6-out save, ended up only having to be a 4-out save. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. If the Yankees can find a way to stay alive tonight, they win game 3.
Really?
Wow.
With Cam Schlittler and Luis Heel, it's absolutely possible that they can. And I don't know what Boone's plan is, if he's going to piggyback those two, if he's going to start Heel. I don't know what his plan is. Whoever it is, I think the Yankees escape the wild card if they can win tonight. If they can't, then obviously it's going Boston's way.
I'm still going to take the Red Sox, and I'll tell you why.
Are you going to take the Red Sox tonight, or are you going to take the Red Sox
just to win
just in general?
Even if they lose game 2.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. I trust Alex Cora more than I trust Aaron Boone.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
This is like yesterday was the best example of why the Red Sox are a better coach team than the Yankees. Aaron Boone Max Fried was pitching a gem. He didn't let a run in, and then he was 6.1 innings into the game, and then just because he was at 100 pitches, he took him out, and that's what cost the Yankees the game because they went to their bullpen, and one opinion is too early. And even though Crochet was at 100 pitches, Alex Cora still rode the momentum with him, and look where he got him.
Well, look, I think that's all pitcher dependent. I don't hate pulling Fried yesterday at 100 pitches. It feels almost insane to continue to let him go. I understand your point about Crochet throwing 20 more, but I don't hate pulling Fried there. I really don't. I thought it was an okay move. I don't think Boone is the coach to get the Yankees to the World Series and get them to the 28th championship.
Sure.
I don't think he's the coach to do it. I do think he overmanages sometimes. Sometimes that doesn't manage enough. I just listen. The only reason I would take the Yankees if they can make it to a game 3, they have Heel, and they have that home field advantage.
Well, let me just ask you guys something. Do you think it was a good decision by Boone to sit Jazz Chisholm?
Well, this is what I'm talking about, the overmanaging.
No.
Like, just because we have a lefty on the mound does not mean we sit Jazz Chisholm and Ben Rice. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense. Like, that is the overmanaging. Jazz Chisholm and Ben Rice got a combined 1 at bat. Ben Rice didn't play. He's probably been
he's been fantastic.
If it wasn't for Nick Kurtz.
This is insane.
Yeah.
We're not playing our 2 best bats. I think Jazz has been the best second baseman in the AL.
If you guys remember,
I feel like that's pretty safe to say.
If you guys remember 5 years ago during the COVID year, the Rays pulled Blake Snell.
Yeah.
It's literally
Kevin
the
Cash.
same exact thing. Kevin Cash, or Aaron Boone just Kevin Cash the Yankees this year. And I think Alex Cora knows that. I feel like with how successful Cora has been, and now not only that, no one's even brought this up. You got the ultimate Yankee killer in Alex Bregman with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like Alex Bregman, Jaron Duran, Wilyer Abreu, Romy Gonzalez, who, if we put analytics aside, he is one of the best left-on-left hitters in all of baseball.
Yep.
So realistically speaking, it's just it was if someone in his ear chirping too much. Aaron Boone, and with all respect to the Yankees, like he knows ball. Like you don't play 13 years and coach as long as he does without not knowing ball. And it's just one of those situations where your back's against the wall and you just pick the wrong card out of the deck, man. Like if I had my stud going 6 1/3 on 100 pitches and I may need him for game 3, of course I'm going to think about pulling him out, especially if he just gave up a base hit. But it's situational baseball that Aaron Boone and that whole Yankee staff just struggle with. When they're put in that situation where they have to make that real tough decision about who's in, who's out, like he said, they don't make the right choices. And that's a reason why the Yankees probably didn't win the AL East, is just because of the situational awareness that they lack in the front office.
Yeah. No, very true. And you look at this Yankees team, and then you look at Boston, and you have to look at Boston's what ifs. You look at the midway point of the season. Mm-hmm. What would have happened if they didn't sell out?
Right.
What if they didn't get rid of Devers? I know he was unhappy there in Boston, but
honestly, I mean, it's interesting. Like, would Rafi Devers propel Boston? You know, maybe
even win the NL, the AL East.
That's where I'm going with this. Yeah. Like, it's very interesting with Boston. The last point I'll make about this is they have to win tonight, because I don't think they'll win tomorrow if it gets.
If Boston wins tonight, Boston will beat Toronto in no more than 6 games, and they can really give the winner of that, I guess it would be Seattle, Detroit, Cleveland game, a real good run for their money, man. Do not sleep on Boston.
I agree.
I think whoever wins the series will beat the Blue Jays, if I'm being completely honest.
I agree. We can, we're going to talk about overachievers, underachievers in a little bit. They're one of my overachievers, but they're also one of my teams that I don't think can go as far. But should we move on to that last wild card?
Yeah, real late game last night, started at 9:00. We got the Cincinnati Reds, who made the playoffs, and the LA Dodgers. Sawyer, I'm actually going to start with you with this one.
Look, I'm not gonna go into the whole Reds Mets thing. We're going to talk about the overachievers, underachievers, and I promise you, the Mets are one of my underachievers. The Dodgers are the better team. I think that's all there is to it. They're the better team. Hunter Green in his hometown last night. Everybody thought maybe this is the one. Maybe he gets him over the hump. The Dodgers are the better team, and they showed it. Ohtani had 2 home runs. Teoscar Hernandez had a 3-run home run. Tommy Edman, who didn't play well this entire regular season, playoff Tommy Edman. There you go. It goes back to last year in the NLCS versus the Mets.
Really goes to show you the apple tree with experience and the apple tree that lacks it. And Gavin Lux, ironically a former Dodger, is the Cincinnati Red with the most amount of playoff experience. The Reds are probably going to get smoked like a pack of Swishers, dude. And I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. The Reds are so equipped for the future, though. Tito Francona, Hunter Green. I mean, they're going to have Zach Littell going tonight. Noelvi Marte. They have just such a good core of young talent. But just to go over the 50-50 maestro and how much the Dodgers have invested into their program, I just can't see that being a situation where the Reds come out successful.
Yeah, I mean, Dodgers are going to win tonight. They're going to play the Phillies. And I'll say this, like, after watching that Dodgers game, teams have to be scared again of this team. Like, their offense has a lot of power. Their starting pitching is really, really good. The thing they lack is the bullpen.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They were down, they were up 8-0, and it was like the bullpen almost let them back into the game. They were lucky that they didn't let more than 3 runs in, because the Reds had bases loaded with 1 out, and then somehow, some way, they got out of that jam.
And that was already with when the Reds had 5 on the board.
Right.
So exactly. It could have gotten a lot worse.
And let's not forget, the Dodgers needed 3 pitchers to get out of that inning. Yeah. 3 relievers.
So I mean, I'm going to take the Dodgers. But they're in a little bit of trouble if they have to go to when they have to go to Philly. So
absolutely. And you look at the 5 home runs. I mean, that's got to stand out, because you see those 5 home runs, and then you say, okay, they do beat Cincinnati. What happens in Philadelphia? Can they keep this up?
I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Right? Look, I'm definitely taking LA though.
Absolutely. So we'll move on. We're going to pick our World Series predictions. I think we kind of gave a little bit of a hint to.
I don't think I've given away anything, actually. Because
That's a good point.
I'll tell you, it's not the team in my jersey right now because they're not in. So.
All right. Well, Andrew, we'll start with you.
Alrighty. Jacob told me to do a dance on the way down. I don't know if I can do that, but all right. Who's ready to fly a W? I don't know if they are after today's performance, but I've got the Chicago Cubs winning this year's World Series against the Boston Red Sox. Cubs are elite, man. Like we said earlier, started off super, super hot. Dealt with injuries just like every other 30 teams in MLB. But if I could tell you that the Cubs actually have 3 players with over 30 home runs and not one of them is Kyle Tucker, would you believe me? The Cubs are 9th in pitching, 13th offensively. Seiya Suzuki, Pete Crow Armstrong is really coming into form. Craig Counsell really just does a good job of just consistently coaching well-built teams deep into October. So I've got the Chicago Cubs flying that W real high after October.
Well, you gotta hope they win tomorrow. Yeah, that pick was worth nothing. Yup.
So it's safe to say you're banking on them.
Yeah. You're banking on it.
I going in there and thinking just solely about just what team is the most balanced. It's San Diego's 1, Chicago's 2.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you look at it just from potato, right? Like the Cubs are so built. They just have not had the opportunities because every time that they get up here, they immediately crash down. PCA went out. Imanaga was out at one point. We didn't even know if Imanaga was going to come back at some point of the season. So just the way that this team is built, it's going to be really fun. But like I said, if it's not going to be the Cubs, I personally think it could be the winner of that Cubs-Padres series. That goes deep.
Yeah. Fernando, let's get your pick.
All right.
I think we're all very surprised.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be very surprised when I tell you my pick. All right. Give me the Philadelphia Phillies. Look, we talk about how important playoff experience is. The Phillies fit that description. They got Bryce Harper, they got Kyle Schwarber, they got Trey Turner, they got a lot of experience on that team. Now, the thing is, their weakness has always been the bullpen in the last 3 runs. But you know what? They finally have a bullpen. Juan Duran has completely changed his bullpen. They finally have the pieces to finally win it all. I honestly would be surprised if they don't. Also, they might have lost Zach Wheeler. It hurts, but they still have Ranger Suarez. They have Luzardo. They still have Christopher Sanchez. They still have a lot of pieces, offensively, defensively. To be honest, I'll say this. The Dodgers scare me. But if we can get past the Dodgers, Phillies are going to win the World Series.
It's good to know that the Dodgers scare you.
I think that is everybody's mentality heading into the playoffs. The Dodgers scare me. And
especially after
as they should, because
I'll say this. I wasn't, but after watching that game last night, I would be scared to play them.
Their offense is back. They have the pitching. I mean, I would be terrified if I was the Phillies.
The thing.
Sorry, why don't you get up there?
All right. So I'm gonna, get away from all these NL picks because I just cannot even talk about the NL right now. We are gonna go to the Seattle Mariners out of the AL, the 2 seed, 90 wins in the regular season. And every year, it seems like you talk about when you go into playoffs in a different league, the NBA, the NFL, the NHL. You talk about the team that's the most consistent throughout the year. Not really in the MLB. You talk about the team that's played the best down the stretch, and there's nobody that's had a better past 2 months than the Seattle Mariners. They have obviously Julio Rodriguez, as you can see. Their playoff success does rely on the health of Josh Naylor. We're going to see if he's healthy. He should be playing in that first game of the ALDS. You have Randy Arozarena. Everybody knows Randy Arozarena in the playoffs, obviously for Tampa in 2020 and 2021. But now with Seattle, I think he's going to be a really, really good addition for that team. Then you look at the pitching. Brian Wu, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert. That is a nasty 3-man rotation. Obviously, Wu is coming off an injury, so it could be a little tough. And we're going to see if he's able to get back going. And then they have Andres Munoz. And Andres Munoz would be the best closer in these playoffs if Aroldis Chapman didn't exist. So I really like the Mariners to come out of the AL, and I think win the World Series. It's not 2001 anymore. It's 2025, and I think the Mariners have got it this year.
like that pick.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a chance.
Because one thing that like we realize and makes baseball playoffs so special is it's not about who the best team is anymore. It's about who goes into it being the hottest team.
This is what I'm saying, and it's been the same thing every single year. I know, exclude last year because the Dodgers and the Yankees did end up going to the World Series. Go look at 2023. Who went to the World Series? The Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
2 6 seeds. Two 6 seeds that came into the playoffs as the last team in. That is why it doesn't matter how good you played in April, how good you played in May. Saw it with the Mets this year. They were the best team in the league through June. They missed the playoffs. It is not about how you start. It's about how you finish. That team has finished the hottest. I think it's going to be the Mariners.
All right. Well, I'm gonna disagree with you on that. Aroldis Chapman, we haven't seen Duran pitch yet, but we're gonna go over to my pick, which will be the reigning World Series champions in the LA Dodgers. I don't think this should be a surprise to anyone. They frighten me as well. They are a scary team. They are built to win. They are always built to win. I don't think I can remember a season when they were not. But the LA Dodgers, with all of their players, you've Shohei Ohtani, just their 5 home runs last night should just be a testament to their ability. And if they can keep with that ability, I think it is a very real chance to win the World Series and bring back a repeat title to LA.
I gotta ask you, if the Dodgers win tonight and they play the Phillies, do you think the winner of the World Series will come out of that series?
Yes. Yes.
That's a safe pick.
Yeah.
I expect more out of you if I'm being honest.
It is a safe pick, but it's a smart pick. You see that their pitching rotation. I know their bullpen is struggling, but they're starting pitching, guys. Come on.
If they could stay healthy.
It's also about how Dave Roberts manages this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah, we got a fun little thing for you guys. We got some trivia that I cooked up today.
All right,
so here we go. We got some questions for you guys. We have here. We'll start with the first one. Who won?
Oh my God!
Whoa!
I remember this.
So sorry. Which 5 Phillies homered in Game 3 of the 2022 World Series?
We need to name all 5.
Okay, Bryce Harper, Brandon Marsh. I'm trying to think. Kyle Schwarber. Was it Kyle Schwarber?
I believe.
I think
the 22 World Series. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kyle.
Home run in
Kyle Schwarber
down the line.
Yeah, Kyle Schwarber. Alec Boehm.
Boomer.
And then one more, but that's just who was the last one?
It's got to be.
Could it be Bryson Stott? I think.
Was it Real Muto?
Yes.
It could have been Real Muto. It could have been Real Muto. Let's see.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next question.
Reese
Hoskins.
Oh, man, I'm a Phillies fan.
I forgot about Hoskins. As a Philly fan, you should do better.
So heart and soul.
He's a Brewer now.
He was like a one year thing.
I love Reese Hoskins. Who was the 2018 World Series MVP?
This was the Red Sox one,
Was
right?
it Mookie?
Was it Mookie?
Garrett Cressell? I don't know.
Why do I feel like it was some random?
2018.
It was the year the Red Sox won. I know that. They beat the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Sale because he closed out that game.
Okay, final answer, Sale.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Steve
Pierce.
Oh my God.
We're getting cooked.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Next one.
All right, next one. Let's roll. Which player has the most homers in ALCS history? ALCS history.
I'm going to go old. Just go Mickey Mantle.
Let's go old. Jose Altuve. I don't know why I think Jose Altuve.
I'll go Mickey as well, but that's a tough question.
I don't know why I think
you have to have a really specific knowledge.
I just feel like I
I
just think Jose Altuve just because the Astros have been in this game so many times.
This was probably.
It is. Look at Fernando.
Wow. Good, Fernando. All right. Let's see. Yeah, we got another one. Who pitched the final inning in the 2016 World Series?
You should know this one.
This is it's the lefty, the over the top lefty.
Yes.
That got I forget what his name was. He got
oh my gosh.
He got the long hair to ground out to Chris Bryant. Oh,
I remember.
It wasn't Matt
No.
Caesar.
It was before Chafin's time, and it's not. It's
It wasn't Matt Caesar, was it?
Jordan Montgomery was never a Cub, right?
I think he was. Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
I'm gonna go with Carlos Marmol.
that could have been.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Mike
Montgomery.
Montgomery is the same person. Come on. It's basically the same guy.
They're stepbrothers.
But I said it was a big lefty, over the top lefty who got him because Chapman blew it in the 10th.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was fun. Well, thank you all for watching 360 Sports. I'm Jacob Gold. We got Sawyer, we got Andrew, we got Fernando. Thank you all for tuning in.